Well, here we are this morning in Saints Hall of Fame Golf Tournament in Kenner with a very honest, young-looking Heisman Trophy winner, Danny Werfel. How are you today?
Super, thanks.
Well, I'll tell you, how's everything up with the Redskins right now?
Well, you know, we had a kind of a tough year. I think there was a lot of expectations going into the season with Coach Spurrier, and I think we learned a lot of things. Right now, I'm actually a free agent. I'm not signed back yet, but that's what I've been told will happen eventually. So I'm looking forward to going back and get the thing turned around.
Now, I believe after your stay here in New Orleans, was it Chicago you went to first?
I actually went to Green Bay first, then to Chicago, then to New Orleans.
Okay, now wasn't there a very brief time you were technically a member of the Houston team, the new Houston team?
I was a Houston Texan for a week, yes, correct. After I was in Chicago, I was drafted by them in the expansion draft before I was traded to Washington.
Now, anytime a first-year coach comes into the league, there's always going to be bumps in the road along the way, and the one thing I noticed was there seemed to be a lot of rotating with the quarterbacks. To your understanding, does it look like now that Patrick Ramsey is going to be the full starter?
Well, I think he'll get a great chance. You know, they brought Rob Johnson in, and certainly he'll, I'm sure, get a look. You know, Coach is going to play the guy who he feels the most comfortable with, and anytime you just show up, you give everybody a chance to see what they can do.
Well, before we let you go, am I right, is New Orleans your permanent home right now?
That's correct. My wife and I live in New Orleans because we work in the Desire Housing Project at the Desire Street Ministries. We work with children in that area, and that's what brings us back here.
Well, it's good to see you again, and much luck to you in the future.
All right, thanks a lot.
Okay, now we're with Jim Dombrowski, longtime Saints guard. How are you doing today?
Doing fine.
Well, you played 11 years here in New Orleans, 86 to 96, if I'm right, and it's good to know that for all your hard work that you've done, as well as for that, I believe you still live in the area, correct?
Yeah, I live on the north shore of New Orleans, across the lake.
Now, it's wonderful that you finally get the well-deserved Saints Hall of Fame induction, which will be for tomorrow, of course. And give me your feelings when you first found out about it.
I was pleasantly surprised. I mean, it's something that you don't really think about, ever getting an honor like this. You know, I'm pretty pleased. I think I played well during my career here, and the thing that makes it most fun for me is going in with Wayne Martin. Wayne's a great guy. I got the utmost respect for him, and that makes it special.
Now, I know, of course, you started, like I said, with the Saints in 86, part of the first winning seasons, the first division title, and I think back about it as a fan for a long time. Guys like Stan Brock and Steve Trapillo, Steve Court along the offensive line, not to mention, of course, Richard Cooper, who's here today. So many good guys. It must have been, for lack of see, this is why I'm new in the business. It goes to show you that the talent you had with you, that obviously y'all worked real great, quarterback like Bobby Hebert, and then later Jim Everett, and we're skipping a few people, but it must have been one heck of a team to be part of for 11 seasons.
Yeah, we had a lot of talent. That's probably the most disappointing aspect of my career, is that we had enough talent to go further in the playoffs than we did. Never to have won a playoff game with the talent that we had is disappointing.
Well, before I let you go, there's one thing I wanted to tell you. One of the segments I do in my show is called Closet Sports Soundbite. And when I heard you were going to be inducted with Wayne, there's one thing I found, and I want to see if you remember. When Pete Rozelle got up in New York to announce the Saints picked you, he calls you up, and I thought only Buddy D did this, but Jim Dombrowski instead of Dombrowski.
Rather auspicious entry into the NFL, wasn't it?
Yeah, but at least it wasn't a curse. At least it wasn't a curse. You did a lot of good for us for so many years, and of course, like I said, was it knee injuries that ended it after 96?
No, I broke and dislocated my ankle, and it just never could hold up to the pounding, and it was a pretty easy decision. Physically, you can't do it. I knew that if I tried to get out there, I'd either hurt myself worse or get somebody else hurt.
Now, if I'm right, after 96, of course, Ditka became head coach in 97, Vice President Jim Miller, didn't he go to Buffalo and offered you a contract when he went up there?
Yeah, he was up there, and the Bills were interested in signing me, and I was interested in going, but I told them that I needed to know that I physically could play, and at that point I was in the middle of rehab and getting surgeries on my ankle to try and make it better, so I just told him, I said, I'll let you know when I'm ready to play.
If I may ask, what do you do for a living now?
I'm a certified financial planner for A.G. Edwards over in Mandeville.
Okay. The boss will be glad to know free advertising on KTIB. Congratulations. Good luck to you.
Thank you very much.
Hey, here we we are Steve, with Steve Bumgardner, played the New Orleans Saints, what, for a good 4 or 5 years, was it?
5 years, 73 through 77.
Okay, well, tell us, you know, it's good to see everybody, a lot of former players today here at the Alumni Golf Tournament. Do you think locally we have a pretty good alumni base when it comes to the Saints?
I think we do. I think it's getting better now that you know, we've been around for 30-some years. I think a lot more guys are starting to stay down here. You know, years ago, guys would come in and go back home when the season would end and make their homes back over there. But I think New Orleans is becoming a place that people like to stay at after they play here a while.
I will say this, last October when we had the inductions for Coach Mora and Frank Warren, one guy was good to see, Jack Grein, a fullback from 1974. Did y'all have much to talk about?
Well, Jack and I actually played high school football against each other. So I knew Jack from way back in the 60s, and then lost track of him when we went to college, and then he all of a sudden appeared here with the Saints, and it was kind of strange seeing him after these years, after those years with coming with the Saints, and then I'd lost contact with him for like 20-some years, and happened to run into him, and it's a nice little homecoming to see those guys that you hadn't seen in such a long time.
One of the forgotten Saints stories, now I wasn't there for it, but 1974 at Tulane Stadium against the Eagles when they had the 22-minute stoppage for the boo. That must have been pretty loud that day.
I was fortunate enough. I was on the field when that happened, and it was Wayne Coleman, our linebacker. I think they accused him of a late hit, and it got the fans riled up. I remember the official coming to us and saying, try to do something to calm the crowd down, and we kind of made a statement in a few words or less. You are the ones that made the call. You do something about it, you know. And you know, it was some of the great things that you get to experience when you're in New Orleans with the fans.
Good defensive lines you're a part of in 1974 yourself. Joe Owens, Bob Pollard, Alex Price, Derlin Moore, second in the National Conference in sacks, and
Andy Doris also.
Andy Doris, right. But isn't it just seems like Saints history, no matter what year you pick out, it seems like one side of the ball was strong enough to get you, but the other side wasn't.
Well, I guess, yeah, when you put it that way, our defense got plenty of time on the field. You know, it was no fault of the offense. I think our biggest problem was we had a new coaching staff just about every year, or every other year, and things were, people were trying to find themselves, and they were trying to grade out players and see who could play and who couldn't play, and I think that hurt us offensively.
Well, I tell you what, it's good seeing you again, and good luck today and down the road.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Here we are with Coach Al Everest of the New Orleans Saints. How's everything today?
It's going good. You know, it's always good to play a little golf.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wanted to ask you because Saturday night in Homa, there's an indoor football team called the Bayou Bucks, and we had the honor of Michael Lewis tossing the coin for everybody. And I'll tell you what, the special teams last year for the Saints was absolutely dynamite. And the way Michael improved from 2001 to 2002, it was obvious that was one heck of an asset for your team.
Well, Mike did a great job, and he worked hard at it. It didn't come easy for him, but it's the way he's lived his life. You never give up. You keep working, and you practiced hard, put in extra time, and it's rewarding to see him have a great year like that.
You know, it doesn't seem like until maybe the 90s when mass media just went crazy in the NFL, special teams finally got the attention they've been long deserving. Both, not just on returns, but on coverage. Michael does a great job, but other guys, Steve Gleason and Fred McAfee. Now, there's a guy right there. Fred's now been, what, in the league 12, 13 years.
Yep.
Finally gets a Pro Bowl berth. And I tell you, it's obviously a good reflection of you helping organize all these guys to do just a tremendous job.
Well, Fred's a great leader, and it was a great honor for him to win that. He's been, I think, the first alternate 7 times. In fact, Steve Gleason was the first alternate, and Mel Mitchell was the second this year. So I was real proud of our group, and they all, you know, fed off each other. And Freddie's a great leader, and you know, does a great job not only on the field but in the locker room. And Steve and Mel had great years, and James Allen. It was a good group. I really enjoyed it.
Well, before we let you go, the one noticeable change I saw in special teams, a new punter in Mitch Berger. What are the attributes he's going to bring to the team this year?
Well, Mitch, you know, he kicked, I think, for 6 or 7 years up for the Vikings, and he's a kickoff guy. He does everything that Toby did. So we didn't want to lose Toby, but it was a good opportunity for him to go to Dallas, and you know, he's from East Texas, and Mitch, you know, pick up right where Toby left off. Mitch is a little bigger, maybe a little stronger. Toby did us a great job, and we wish him good luck, but I think Mitchell can, you know, will do the kickoffs, and he's an excellent punter. So hopefully we didn't lose any ground there.
Now, if my memory of Saints history is right, is your father Andy part of Bum Phillips' staff?
He sure was. He sure was. In fact, he was the first tight end coach in the National Football League. He came here with Bum. Bum hired him and said, I don't know what the job's going to be, but you got a job. And my dad had been an offensive line coach and a head coach and an offensive coordinator at Stanford, Utah, and SMU, UC Santa Barbara. And Bum got him down here and said, okay, you're the tight end coach. Now everybody's got a tight end coach.
Well, good luck to you in the future, and hope you enjoy today.
I sure do. Thanks.
Well, here we are with Beaufort Jordan here at the golf tournament. How's everything today?
Hey, man, just beautiful. I mean, hey, we're out here for a good cause. You know, I just had a chance talking with, you know, the person responsible for the Saints Hall of Fame, one of the key people, Mr. Aaron Broussard, and hey, just saying, bro, hey, it's a beautiful thing, keeping all the New Orleans Saints history going, and then we have a chance to help keep improving the things at the Hall of Fame, so it's a beautiful day.
Well, tell me, two great guys are going to be inducted. The announcement tomorrow, Jim Dombrowski and Wayne Martin. I take it the credit dated, the Hall of Fame honor is probably long overdue for those two.
Nah, that's something, huh? I'm just talking to both of them and didn't even give the congratulations, but hey, they just asked me to do it and I did it. But hey, two great guys, you know, to do it. I mean, you know, Jim, #1 draft choice for him at the offensive line, as well as Wayne Martin, a #1 draft choice at the defensive line. You know, gave great service to him. So, hey, they deserve that honor. I had a chance to play with both guys.
Now, you know, you're great guys right there. They're inducted, but now we got to bring up something we brought up with you. They just had the announcements for the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. They ignore you again. Well, we got to get you in there one of these days. You're too damn good not to be in.
Hey, my brother, you know what? Thing is I'm just happy to have done those things, and if somebody want to take it and, you know, put that in there, that's fine. But hey, I know what I did, and, you know, as we do things in life, that's what we got to remember, not what everybody else does.
Now, seeing Tyrone Hughes here earlier reminded me, of course, he signed a contract recently with your buddy Coach Jack Phillips in the Bayou Bucks. And while Tyrone hasn't played yet, it just reminded me, now Coach Jack is 2-0. They defeated the Oklahoma Cougs Saturday night, and it sounds like you taught that guy pretty well from 5 years ago in the Bayou Beast.
Well, I don't know how much that is, because, you know, his dad's a high school coach as well in the New Orleans area. So, you know, hopefully just pass on some things to Jack, you know, as well as he had passed on to me, and just remember those, how we played back then, and just keep that mentality. And I would think he will be successful because he has the drive that it takes. So, you know, good luck to Jack and the whole team.
Well, I tell you what, it's good seeing you again, and it's wonderful, like I said, that the alumni can come together like this. I think Saints alumni is probably the best alumni group we have in the world. It's just a lot of camaraderie amongst all of you.
Yeah, man, it just is. I mean, even some of the guys that played before me, you get a chance to meet, and, you know, some that played after me. So it's a nice gathering, and, you know, a time to see some good people that you may have heard about, know, and, you know, they've heard about you. So it's just all fun.
We are with the other man of the day, Wayne Martin, long-deserving Hall of Fame honoree, coming up, announcement tomorrow. How's everything?
It's fine. Everything's fine.
Well, you played here in New Orleans 11 glorious years out of the University of Arkansas, and come here under Coach Moore and ended up under Mike Ditka, part of the First Division Championship team as well, and it must be a true honor, you know, to finally get your well-deserved Hall of Fame induction.
Yes, it's an honor, and I really enjoyed my years here in New Orleans, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world.
Well, I tell you what, you're right now, I believe, the third all-time sack leader on this team, and you a part of any successful player such as yourself, you have a lot of great teammates around you. Great defensive line for many years, including guys like Frank Warren and another gentleman here today, Jim Wilkes, and it must have been one heck of a time with playing with all these guys for so long.
It sure was. You know, I played with a lot of great guys. You know, Jim Wilkes, Ricky Jackson, Frank Warren. I played with a lot of great players early in my career, and I was blessed.
And well, I tell you what, we're really happy for you. And what you doing now in your life?
I just got a few little things going on. I'm enjoying myself right now. I'm enjoying being retired, and I'm just enjoying life right now.
Are you still in the area, by the way?
Yeah, I still live in the area.
Well, listen, we wish you a lot of luck, and much luck to you in the future.
Thanks a lot.
We are with the man who helps put it all together, Kenny Trahan, for the Saints Hall of Fame, and at least, thank goodness, you had great weather to run this golf tournament.
This is God's weather here today. We're very blessed, and you know, last year was just the opposite. We had tornado watches and everything else, and we managed to get 9, maybe 10 holes in, and then the heavens opened up, and fortunately we didn't have anybody complain. Came over to the Hall of Fame and enjoyed themselves, had some food and drink, and had some door prizes and things of that nature, and got a chance to carouse with.
Well, here we are with Jim Wilkes, Saints Hall of Famer from 2001, if I'm right. How's everything?
Everything's good, man.
Well, I tell you what, it's good. I understand from Kenny Trey, and you're back living in the area now, correct?
Yeah, we're back. We're, looking for a house and trying to settle down and everything. Yeah.
Okay, now I understand you actually went out there after your career to go into acting?
Yeah, I did. I acted for a while and blew my back out a couple of years and had to give that up, and now I'm back here to regroup and start all over again.
Now, of course, I'm always going to remember your induction speech because you cried in front of all of us.
I don't remember that.
Very emotional time for all of us. I think a lot of us had tears after that. But the one thing I wanted to ask you was, the unfortunate thing was, a year later, of course, one of everybody's favorites, Frank Warren, gets inducted, but then sadly leaves us 2 months later. That must have been really unfortunate news to have heard.
Oh, yeah, Frank and I were close for 13 years when we were teammates here, and then for the years afterwards, too. And it was disheartening to hear something like that. He never told me he was sick or anything like that. It was just hard and disbelieving to hear.
Right. But on a much more brighter note, of course, Frank was well deserving of his induction. Now Wayne Martin, who was also on the side of you, gets inducted. So that must be a big honor.
Oh, yeah. That is a big honor. We have had a bunch of good defensive linemen playing here with me, and it'd be a good thing to have them all in there with me.
Is there any one good memory of your career that stands out by far in a Saints uniform over 13 years?
Right now, just being inducted into the Hall of Fame stands out most in my heart for me. That was one of the key reasons that brought me and my family back to New Orleans, and that stands out for me.
Well, while I got the recorder on, the one I'm always going to remember, even though it was in a loss, 1990, all guys went to Minnesota in week 2. Vern Lundquist, the announcer for CBS, said you had one of the loudest smacks in history when you hit B.J. Dozier up the middle. And so, but listen, we thanks for being with us, and it's good to have you back in the area.
Okay, nice talking to you.
Close out, we have Lee Zurich from Channel 4. How are you today?
I'm doing great, William. How are you?
Right, well, with the limited time we have left, tomorrow being the 10th anniversary since Wayne Mack passed away, and you growing up in the New Orleans area, tell me about your memories of Wayne.
It's weird, probably one of the first sports people in New Orleans, I probably have a memory of is Wayne Mack, growing up here, being a New Orleans native and everything, him being, just in the sports scene in New Orleans for so long. It's just he and Jim Henderson are probably my first memories, and Hap Glaudy as well too. So it's definitely been around him for a long time, and 10 years. Gosh, it seems like yesterday, but it's been 10 years. I didn't even realize that today, to be honest with you, William.
Of course, we're doing this interview with Lee, even though he couldn't get me the job after Brad Panovich left in the weather department. We still hold a grudge, over that.
Hey, I wish I had the pull, William, but I don't have that much pull. Sports, maybe, not weather.
Unless you want to enter my pool and see when Karen Swensen's baby will be born.
I'd say May 26th.
Okay, that's his prediction, folks, so we're holding it to him. We thank you again.
You bet. Thanks, William.